I'll be honest, I've been teaching school for 27 years, and I thought I knew a lot about the Civil War. I found out I knew very little about the Civil War.
We're not here to glorify war. Our goal here is to teach people, to show them what the life was like back then, what they went through and how they did it.
They're just following orders, doing their patriotic duty because they think what they're doing is right. Whether they were North or South, they all felt the same thing.
I know guys that are still reenacting in their 70s, and I don't think I'd want to try and outwalk them. We have all different religions, definitely different political views, and we get along. There's something about it that brings, everybody together on it. Union by birth, Confederate by choice. That's about as easy as I can say it.
For South Carolina, fall in!
With the 1st South Carolina Volunteers, I portray Captain William Haskell.
By the left wheel, march.
Definitely born in South Carolina, grew up on a plantation, was tutored on that plantation, and then attended University in Virginia, and came back, did a little bit of teaching, owned a newspaper man and speaker. And then when the war broke out, signed up with the militia.
Front rank, ready, aim, fire.
Wait for the command. Who fired first? Fire! That was bad. That was bad. So you could get wounded and killed. You could get wounded twice. But we like to do this because when we do it today, they're going to, well, look at that. They're firing each other, nobody's dropping. Well, if you do it the way it was actually fought, it'll be over in 5 minutes. So we do this, we try and take as many hits as we can and recycle them back into the line. I think it's worth checking out. 105-degree heat, smoke in your eyes, the smell of sulfur, sunburns, heat stroke, mosquito bites, etc. And do that for 3 days and come home and say, geez, I had a great time. So I figure if there's a psychiatrist out there that can actually pinpoint how somebody could go through that in the course of a day and come up with a logistical reason for it, they could get an automatic free PhD.
I've heard some people, editors or online or whatever, saying that they don't think this is a proper hobby for people to have because of how it glorifies war. It makes it fun. No, it doesn't. Not in my opinion, anyway. We are not here to glorify war. War is bad. For me, it's mostly just learning, okay, how did they live? What was it like? And yeah, they were a whole lot tougher than me. Okay, you guys ready? Detail forward, march. We'll fall in by our companies and we'll form up our lines. Pop all right, march. March out to the field. Careful on the mud, it's real slick. And then depending upon which one we're doing at the time, we'll either be dug in and waiting for the other guys, or we'll be advancing on their position. detail, counter march left, march. Basically doing, listening to what the officers tell us to do and doing where they tell us to go, which is a large reason for why we drill. And, and then the question always gets asked, how do you know if you've been hit or not? Well, mostly we do that on an honor system. If you look down the field and you see some guy, he's got you in his sights and you see the gunpowder go off, I will generally drop. He's got me. So yes, it is a blank cartridge. There is no lead, nothing else besides the powder. But if you're not careful, you can still severely hurt someone. Well, reenactors, in my opinion, for the most part, we're a pretty good bunch.
Dodge County's and Wasioja's involvement in the Civil War. There was a lot of involvement. A lot of soldiers left from here. It's one of the highest percentages of participation in the war of any county in the country. Dodge County residents in the 1860s were very patriotic. They're newly arrived in this country, many of them, and newly arrived to this new state that had only been formed in '58. So they were very patriotic and willing to serve.
The Union and Confederate commanders on the field today are conferring.
I'm sure we have well over 200 volunteers who participated in the event up to the start of the event, and with all of the parking and the registration and all of the other things, probably I'm sure at least another 100 volunteers that were involved in the event the last 3 days. It's hauling in bleachers, setting up tents, setting up fences. The locals have been fantastic. People just come out of nowhere to volunteer to help. The 25-acre battle site was cow pasture. John doesn't currently milk anymore, so we didn't have to displace any of his livestock from the property here. But he seeded it down for us so it wouldn't be like a plowed field for our encampment area.
Minnesota being the 37th.
It's all about education. They love to tell their story. They love to explain to people about what these folks went through, the sacrifices they made 150 years ago.
We cannot dedicate. We cannot consecrate. We cannot hallow this ground. The brave men, living and dead, who struggled here have consecrated it far above our poor power to add or detract.
We are coming, Father Abram, 300,000 more, from Mississippi's winding stream and from New England's shore.
Most Americans aren't concerned with their history. We lose a lot of our history. We don't maintain it. We throw it away. And to me, that's a shame. You're losing invaluable information, experiences, what made us what we are today.